Hello and welcome everyone to this tutorial session. In this video, we will discuss how we can set up a Python development environment. So we start off this video by understanding the need of development environment. Then we will discuss different Python development tools. Now out of these development tools, code editing tools are quite important. So we will discuss different type of code editing tools such as text editors, integrated development environments, notebooks, and in the end we will discuss how we can create and execute our first Python program. So without any further delay, let's jump to our first topic. So generally when we install Python, it facilitates the use of Python shell. Now a Python shell enable us to execute small Python statements and print results. However, if we want to execute large Python scripts and develop various Python based applications, it is recommended to use a development environment. So what is a development environment? A development environment is simply a collection of process and various programming tools that assist developers in developing the application or product. It is just a workspace that provides an interface and a convenient perspective of the entire development process. So here in this video, we will discuss the steps related to setting up a basic development environment. The very first step in the setup includes installing the latest Python release. Now we already know how to install Python on different operating systems. So we will move to the next step. And after installing Python, the next step is to select and install various development tools based upon our requirements. So let's discuss some of these Python development tools. Now, since Python is one of the most used languages worldwide, there is a variety of development tools available for it, and selecting any of these tools depends upon the requirement and system needs. So there are basically three categories of tools that we can utilize for Python development. First is the package management tool. Now, due to the versatile nature of Python, there are a variety of third-party packages available in the market, and managing these third-party packages in Python is quite important. So pip and conda are the two most common package management tool for Python. And again, we have already discussed how we can use pip and conda for Python in our previous tutorial. Now a Python developer spends most of his time in writing Python code and building business or application logic. So a code editing tool is a necessary for every developer. Now there are three different type of code editing tools that a developer can use. First is a text editor. Second is the integrated development environment. Third is the notebook. We will discuss these code editing tools in detail. After writing your code integration and version control is the next important step, and the technique of integrating code into common repository frequently is known as continuous integration, and it is a good practice as it allows us to catch mistakes early and obtain fast feedback. Now Git and GitHub are some well-known development tools for this task, where GitHub is a cloud-based repository and Git is a common source code and version control management tool. So we will discuss about Git and GitHub in the coming tutorial session. So next we will discuss about the different code editing tools, where first we will discuss about text editors. So a text editor is simply a piece of a software that allows us to create and modify text files. It is also a crucial tool for programmers since it allows them to type and edit text, including programming language files. Moreover, there are many editing softwares for programming that helps to work with variety of languages. So let's discuss some of the common code editing softwares. Now one thing that I want to clarify here is throughout this video we are going to discuss multiple text editors. Even we are going to discuss about multiple IDs, but this doesn't mean that we have to install all of them. You can choose any one of them based upon your preference. Now let's discuss about the different text editors. Very first one is the Sublime Text. So Sublime Text is a code editor written in a C++ and Python language, and it is created by a Google employee named John Skinner with a vision of creating a better text editor. Now Sublime Text is a cross-platform text editor tool with a built-in support for Python, and we can easily download it for free for any of the operating systems. Let's discuss how we can install and configure Sublime Text for Python. Now to download Sublime Text, simply search for Sublime Text and move to the first URL. Now from this home page, move to the download page. Now from this download page, we can easily download the executable for any of the operating system. I have already downloaded the executable. Let's run it. Now once we run the executable, after downloading it, it will open this setup menu. Now from here, simply click on the next button and again click on the next one and simply click on install. It will take few seconds to install Sublime Text, and here you can see the process is completed. Simply click on finish. Now with this we have successfully installed Sublime Text. As I told you, Sublime Text is a ready to use Python editor, so we don't need any additional configuration for it. We can simply run it and start programming in Python. Now let's discuss the second code editor. So second code editor is the Atom editor. Now Atom is also an open source code editor software which is created by GitHub by using the Electron framework. Now Atom facilitates a smooth interface with a functionality of browsing file systems and an extension marketplace. Moreover, just like Sublime Text, Atom is also freely available for all the operating systems. Now to download Atom, again we can simply navigate to a browser. Now in the browser, simply search for Atom editor and click on the first page. From here we can simply download it. Again, I have already downloaded this editor. To install this editor, we simply need to run this executable and it will automatically start the installation. So here we can see the installation process is started. The editor will automatically start once the installation is completed. So here you can see the Atom editor is launched automatically. Now to work with Python on Atom editor, we need to install a script extension. So to install the script extension, we need to first expand this installer package option. Under this, click on this open installer. Now under this settings page, we have to search for the package. So we will simply search for the script package, and we need to install this script package which is coming up at the very first result. So here you need to click on install. So after installing this script extension, we can directly run our Python code within this Atom editor. Now let's move to the next option. So the next code editor is Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code, which is also known as VS Code, is an open source, lightweight yet feature-rich code editor which is developed by Microsoft. And just like Atom, VS Code is also created using the Electron framework, and it is also available for Linux, Windows and Mac. Now despite its small size, VS Code is adaptable and configurable for a variety of programming languages including Python. However, we just need to install a Python extension in Visual Studio Code to get started. So let's discuss how we can configure Visual Studio Code for Python. So first we need to download it. For this, I will again move to my browser screen. Now in the browser, simply search for VS Code and open this first page result. Now from here, click on this download option. This will open this download page, and from here we can easily download VS Code for any of the operating system. However, I have already downloaded it in my system. Let's run this. So when we run this setup, first in the setup we have to accept this license agreement. So I will tick mark this I accept the agreement option and click on next. Then again click on next, again next, and simply click on next, and in the last click on install. Now this installation will take few seconds. So once this process is completed, simply click on finish and it will automatically launch the VS Code editor. So here you can see the VS Code editor is launched. Now we need to install a Python extension. For this, first we need to move this extensions option. Under this, search for Python, and from here we need to install this Python extension by Microsoft. So I will simply click on install. So after installing this extension, we are ready to work with Python. Now let's discuss the next topic. So next, let's discuss about integrated development environment. So integrated development environment, commonly known as IDE, is a development tool that brings together the essential developer tools needed to create and test software. It is simply an application that combines several parts of a computer program into a standard graphical user interface. Now, developers often need to install different development tools, for example a code editor, a compiler, a debugger, and after installing these tools, developers also needs to take the headache of managing these tools independently. But an IDE helps developer by combining these multiple tools and providing an integrated environment. Now there are variety of IDEs available in the market, especially for Python development. So the very first IDE is PyCharm. Again, PyCharm is also a cross-platform integrated development environment which is specially dedicated to Python programming. This Python IDE is written in Python and Java programming language, and it is developed by the JetBrains team. So PyCharm is a product by JetBrains, and we can start Python development straight after installing PyCharm, as it facilitates tons of features including the ability to run and debug Python code using it. Now the Python IDE is available for all the operating system, and additionally it comes in both professional and a community edition, where professional is a paid edition and community is a freely available one. Now let's discuss how we can download it. Now in your browser, simply search for PyCharm and open this first page. Now from here you can click on this download button. It will open this download page. And from here we can download PyCharm for a different operating system, and you can see it is showing up two different editions, professional one and community one. Now the professional edition comes with some additional features, but community edition will also work for most of the cases. By clicking on download, we can simply download it. I have already downloaded it. That's why I'm not downloading at this moment. So I will simply run this setup. Now from this setup, simply click on next, and again next, and again next. Keep JetBrains selected and simply click on install. Now till now we were only installing editors, but PyCharm is a complete integrated environment, so it will take few minutes to install it. And after installing PyCharm, we can start using it directly. We don't require any additional setup because this IDE is specially dedicated for Python development. We can start our Python development by simply creating a new project or simply writing our code in a new file. Now once this process is completed, click on this finish button, and to run the PyCharm editor, simply search for it and run it. So here you can see PyCharm community edition is coming up here. I can simply run it and start my Python program. So after PyCharm, Spider is another popular cross-platform freely available Python IDE. This IDE is completely written in Python itself, and it combines comprehensive set of development tools like powerful editing, analyzing, debugging, and visualization capabilities. Now, Spider is included in the Anaconda package manager distribution, so it will be installed automatically when we install Anaconda. So if you are having Anaconda installed in your system, you don't need to separately download or install Spider ID. It will come by default in it. And if you have not installed Spider, we can simply install Spider by installing Anaconda. However, if you are using Miniconda, we need to install Spider manually using the conda command. So we will discuss that in this video. So I will simply open my Anaconda prompt. Here to install Spider, we simply need to type conda install Spider. Here it is asking me whether I want to proceed or not. So I will simply specify Y and click enter. So it has started downloading various packages for it. Now once this process is completed, we can simply type Spider in our Anaconda prompt to run it. Now till now, in most of the previous tools, we need to create our Python program in a .py file, and we need to execute the entire program at once. But there is one more way to execute Python programs, that is by using an interactive Python interpreter, and Jupyter Notebook is one of the best examples for it, as it utilizes the interactive Python interpreter just in our browser to execute various Python programs and statements. So Jupyter Notebook creates a notebook document that can hold Python code, certain description, and also the results of the code. Moreover, it also allows adding text components like equations, paragraphs, figures, and even links in that notebook document. Now, installing Jupyter Notebook is quite easy. So there are multiple ways to install it. We can install it by using pip, or we can install it by using conda. So let me open my command prompt. Now to install Jupyter Notebook, we simply need to type pip install Jupyter and click enter. So here we can see it has start downloading the Jupyter Notebook. Now just like pip, we can also use conda to install Jupyter Notebook. For this, I will run my Anaconda prompt. Now here I will simply type the command conda install Jupyter. So it has started the process. Now that we understood how we can set up different code editing tools, let's discuss how we can create and execute our first Python program. And for this execution, we are going to use the VS Code editor. So I will simply run my VS Code editor. So from here, I will move to this menu bar and click on file. And from here, simply click on new file. So once we click on the new file option, it will open an untitled in the VS Code editor. Now let's first save this file. You can save this file anywhere. I will save this file on the desktop. I will type hello.py. So once we save this file within the py extension, you can see the Python icon is showing up at the start of the file name. Now let's create our first Python program. For this, I will simply type print. So we are going to use the print function, and we will simply use this print function to print a string statement. So I will simply type a string statement here within the double quotes. So it is a very simple Python program where we are using this print function to print a string value as a result. Let's save this file. Now to execute this program, we will use command prompt. So I will run my command prompt. From here, now we have to move to the location where we have saved this hello.py file. So I have saved this on my desktop. So I will move to my desktop directory. So here you can see now I am in the desktop directory. Now to run this hello file, we will simply type Python and then the file name, that which is hello.py. So here you can see once we run this file, it has returned this result, hello from Python guides. So with this, we have come to the end of this video session. In the next video, we will discuss about Git and GitHub. Till then, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.